right, that was great. Very, very energetic. Thank you all. Delve right into the word here. If you would, please turn to John chapter 10. The Gospel of John chapter 10. In the past, God has led me to talk to us about first, what is a Christian? And we went through the definition of a Christian is basically a disciple, one that's a student of Christ, that follows Christ, and that identifies, calls people to identify such people as a Christian. So we found out a workable definition of Christian. And last week I talked about the Christian process. Because we got on again, the Christian is, being identified as a Christian is not an end of itself. It is just a portion of a phase of a process, that recognition of awareness to the world and actually awareness to ourselves. And that process in short order was, we had experienced a new birth. So first we could see the kingdom. Second, once we get that new birth and we recognize that there is a kingdom of God, we have to believe to the point that it prompts us to action, and we make a profession of what our belief is, and that's we call being saved. And after we are saved, we're called to discipleship, which means we're called to be a student. So we went through that process. So now we've become a learner of what we have been saved into. And again, to reemphasize, the next thing we do, once we start to display what we're being taught, then we can be referred to, will be referred to as Christian. We could refer to ourselves as Christian. And the last portion of that was to strive toward maturity. And that's the process we basically stay in for the rest of our lives. Until Christ comes back, because we want to obtain that fullness of Christ. So given that we've gone through this process and everything, now I'm striving toward maturity. I asked the question myself, well, what do I need to do to accomplish that? Can I get maturity just by studying the Word, isolating myself in the Word? Should I go out on the mission field? You hear a whole lot of things that people say once we get this deep revelation, it prompts them to something. But I would submit to us today to entertain this as an option. Once we reach a point that we want to mature, the Word will tell us that we're going to need to be shepherded. We need a shepherd. We need someone to lead us to a degree spiritually toward this maturity. And it can get to be dicey, and this is a situation where I think sometimes in the body of Christ we have a lot of problems, is, I heard people, you probably heard me, I'm searching for a church home. I'm not criticizing those people, we hear those things. Or I'm in this congregation, I don't know if I belong there or not, because something was said or something was done, or maybe something has been ongoing, where it causes questions, or maybe vexes your spirit where you don't really feel that this is not where you feel. You don't understand exactly what's being said or what's being done. But we do have a shepherd. We do need a shepherd, because once we are saved, we are engrafted into a body. And we know Jesus Christ, as we just heard those great praise songs about, He is the head of this body. And we are in it. So that is a natural outcome of being saved. You become part of a body. Well, the body just can't run around, I used the analogy long ago, doing what it wants to do. Because I remember when I was a kid, I'm not trying not to stray too much today for time's sake. When I was a kid, I grew up in most Alabama was rural, so it was sort of rural, but my mom and my grandmother had chickens. And back then, I didn't know anything about getting chicken out of the grocery store. When I was a kid, that was unheard of. I didn't even know it existed. But anyway, they would kill a live chicken. Wring its neck. Sometimes they pop the neck off. I don't want to just gross people out. But I noticed something that would happen. They would wring the chicken neck, and the chicken was still running around without a head.
Yep, for a few minutes.
I know, that freaked me out too. All them years ago. But it was functioning without a head. But see, the chicken had no direction. Run around running into stuff, putting blood all over the tree. You seen that spectacle too. It's a sight to behold. It'd be traumatizing. So let's know the body needs a head. That's the point I'm trying to make. The body must have a head. If not, the body can't function properly. So we as believers, we want to look at John chapter 10. And God had me to entitle this sermon, The Good Shepherd. That's how Jesus referred to himself. So we're going to look at the Good Shepherd. What the Good Shepherd is, who he is, what he does, how he does it. And you'll see a bunch of points. I hope we can understand all of this. So if we look at, well, not scripture yet, but see, as Christians, we have a responsibility to recognize what we need to do to grow and mature in the things of God. See, that becomes a responsibility. That's not like we hope it's a side effect. That is a natural responsibility that each of us that are believers has. We are to mature in the things of God. If not, it's no point in getting saved. You know, we get saved. Some people got saved, 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever. Do you want it to stay the same?
No.
Is anybody still where they was in pre-K, still like learning their alphabets and how to write and, block letters and stay within the line, color within the lines? We don't do that intellectually, so we shouldn't do that spiritually. So we do want to mature. The Good Shepherd is God's designated representative here on earth. This is how Jesus described himself. God has representatives on earth. So we must ensure that we receive what God intends for us to have and not what we want only. And I think sometimes we get flawed in the body of Christ by wanting things that God do not desire us to have. And a lot of times that can be the results of not pursuing and trying to find out what God wants for us. So we pursue instead what we want instead of what God would have us to have. Because as we look at the role of the shepherd, we can see the impact that the shepherd can have on an individual's life. That's why we have to make sure we have a good shepherd. We go to the good shepherd and not just any shepherd. Amen. Because Jesus understands not all these shepherds are good. He's going to describe right here. Let's get right into it. Let's just go right into it. Right here. Let's look at verse 1 and 2 in chapter 10. This is Jesus speaking. He says, "Most assuredly I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber." I'm going to stop with verse 1. So he who does not enter by the door of the sheepfold. See, Jesus is using a metaphor here that the people could understand. See, back in my vernacular, we would probably, anybody, help me out, maybe understand it, we would have probably called it a sheep pen. Yeah, see, that's some back on the side, we thought down south. Because actually the sheepfold is just, a fold is really representative of a yard. It's an open yard. And the sheep are in it. Now understand, visualize this. Now I know a lot of y'all, I haven't kept sheep, but I can visualize it because I grew up rural. The shepherd goes out to the sheepfold, out to the yard where the sheep are. He just walks right through the door, right? That's where he belongs. That's the normal way. But see, Jesus talking about now says that's how the good shepherd, that's how I say, if you don't enter that way, you are the thief or the robber. Now, especially if they have a gate. There you go, they jumped the fence. You put a fence there, you're not authorized to be among the sheep. They're not yours. But you can jump the fence or climb under or tunnel under, whatever you do. So Jesus is saying that person that comes in this way, when you're not authorized to go through the door, you are a thief and a robber.
Wow.
Now that's pretty profound. And I don't want this to be just a negative message, but you understand, Jesus is talking, and if you read back, and I would admonish you to read chapter 9, because it really was, Jesus had just had one of his many confrontations here with the Pharisees over healing this guy that was blind on the Sabbath. It was a whole, 41 chapters, 41 verses that went on and on and on. And basically what happened, Jesus made an anointment of his saliva and dirt, put it on the man's eyes. The man went to the pool, what Jesus told him to do, and he got his eyes, you know, he became clean. Then the people, he said, go to the Pharisees. So people took to the Pharisees. Now the Pharisees are wondering, well, you know, they trying to question all this. They asking the man, well, how did you receive your sight? Well, this man told me to put this mud on my eyes, and I went and washed, and I could see. Now they started questioning, have you always been like this? So now they think it's some kind of trick. Now they asking his parents, has this man always been blind from birth? Yeah. And then they want to explain, well, how did he receive his sight? And the parents like, well, don't ask us, you can ask him. He's right here, he's the baby. Because see, the Pharisees were very shrewd. If you made a proclamation that wasn't in line with what they believed, they put you out of the synagogue. They ban you. Excommunicate you on the spot. So they didn't bite on that. They said, no, you can talk to him. So the man got to talking back and forth. He said, he told him before, just to try to give you a quick synopsis of this. So they asked him again. The man said, look, all I know is I was blind and now I can see. Okay, come on. Then they said, well, how did this happen? He said, well, I told y'all how it happened. So then he started telling them. Well, wait a minute. Because they said, well, maybe it's the devil that did. See, that's amazing one thing. You do good things, you just open the gate, all kind of foolishness starts coming out. Maybe it's the devil. The man, now here's the man telling the Pharisees, well, wait a minute. A devil don't open eyes. Said, doesn't the word teach us that what God says, he confirms what he said? A man that can heal somebody, give them, restore their sight. Isn't this from God? And now the Pharisees talking about, well, wait a minute, you dare teach us? See, it went on and on. That was really a demonic dissertation that went on before that. And basically, while Jesus was in, he twisted Pharisees up. He said, well, I come to give sight to those that were blind. And after those that think they can see, they're going to become blind. And the Pharisees said, well, are we blind? I said, no. So you think you can see, but you're still in your sin. So they're really upset with Jesus right now. And then he goes into this dissertation, they're telling them, describing what their role should be. So now he's saying, well, let's read on. So we're talking now. Jesus said, if you come any other way except by the door, only the good shepherd comes through the door. Anybody else that comes in any other way is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door of the shepherd, but he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. So we're going to word that in first. Okay. So I've already discussed that. The shepherd walks through the door. The shepherd doesn't worry about it. When you go through your house, you're not like looking for an open window, creeping around, hoping, looking for a crowbar, trying to get Pookie, see if he can help you get you to the back door or something, with a glass cutter to cut kicking doors in. No, you just open the door, go through the door. Yes. That's because you're authorized to be there. Now, when anybody else coming in another way, they're coming in there for some kind of devious, demonic purposes. They're not authorized to come through the door. So that's what he's telling them. Only the shepherd comes through the door. And you understand, the door is merely a portal or entrance. All right, now let's move on. Let's look at 3 through 6. Jesus is still speaking. To him, the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hears his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. Now this is to the one that comes through the door. He said the doorkeeper, or the porter, is the watcher of the gate. That's right. He opens the gate. Because see, the shepherd, you understand the scenario where I understand it right then, the shepherd is on the sheep, and they may pen, obviously more, it may be large enough that sheep from different shepherds are there. But there's somebody that's the keeper of the door. He knows the shepherd. So now the shepherd is coming to the door. Okay, I open the door, you're authorized. But the shepherd only calls to his sheep. His sheep hear his voice, and what happens after that? And when he brings out his own, that went too far. Verse 4 says, when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, but they know his voice. See, a true representative of God, if we are Christians, we are believers, we've gone through all the process we talked about the last 2 weeks, we are going to be able to discern the voice of God through the shepherd. Right. Because that's the analogy he's using. With sheep, Jesus, again, it's a metaphor. We're not sheep. We're not dumb animals. But we have the ability to be able to hear the voice of the shepherd just like the sheep can. And we should be as responsible and aware of when the shepherd is speaking and when we should follow. Because understand, when you're following God's designated representative here on earth, and that's what I think twisted the Jews up, maybe they understood it and didn't like it or whatever, is something they had to know was they knew about God, and they knew Jesus was talking about God and things. I think they just didn't like what he said. And we can have the same thing in Christian. We can know that what a preacher or an elder or a teacher or somebody that has some spiritual authority and responsibility is saying, but we don't like what they say. But the word says when we hear the good shepherd, we ought to follow. Not up and leaving. This is not, I'm not speaking about anything, but some people, you don't hear what you want to hear, then you don't want to be a part of that congregation. I don't agree with that teaching. Really, I don't see anything in here where God asks us to agree with anything. Basically, said, I'm God, you're not. You have to deal with that. I have to deal with that. So really, he's saying that the sheep that go out, they follow him because they know his voice. And it says, yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of a stranger. Now understand, there's a gate watcher that lets the shepherds in. And as a sheep, we're responsible for knowing the voice of, in this metaphor, of the master. So we follow him, and follow him along. Amen. That's why I like what my wife is saying. I like everything she does, but when she just preach Jesus, that's why I like to pray the word. See, we make things convoluted that are really simplistic. Because we look for excuses. Well, we human beings, not us particularly here. Human beings look for excuses to have things adjusted to where they're comfortable. See, the word of God don't say anything about comfort. Yeah, if you think it's comfortable being there, right, it's very comfortable, right? Jesus said, yep, he was real comfortable on that cross. I was very comfortable. Those crown of thorns, that felt really good. Those lashes, yep, I really loved that. I couldn't wait to do that again. Being reviled and all of this, yep, feels really good. See, it's never designed for us to even factor in the impact of being a Christian on my lifestyle, cramping our style. And sometimes you hear people I know doing evangelism, well, you know, I got a few things I want to straighten out, you know, I know. I'm like, no, don't worry about it, straightening stuff out. Matter of fact, you don't have the power to straighten out that. Just as you need to understand, we don't need to. We need to listen and obey to the, you know, we hear to the voice. And the shepherd has a responsibility because the shepherd is only authorized to use his voice. Now he's talking about the good shepherd, his voice. He don't disguise it. He doesn't come in there with some, for lack of a word, Jedi mind trick, some other deception. You don't know, he go there trying to sound like some other shepherd. He don't go there trying to imitate somebody else's voice or somebody else's style, hoping some sheep that's not his will follow him. See, the good shepherd is not allowed to deceive.
That's right.
There's no deception in the good shepherd. There will be a peace when you understand whether this has been, if this God or not, if this been led, there will be a peace about what is being said and what we're doing. Jesus uses, verse 6 says, Jesus used this illustration, but they did not understand the things which he spoke to them. Then Jesus said, verse 7, again, most assuredly I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. Jesus gets real serious now. I like the way Jesus declares that I am. Say, I am the door to the sheep. I am the portal of the sheep. There's only one way to get to the sheep.
Come on.
One authorized way is through me. That's right. In me. So when anybody represents anything, whether willingly or unknowingly, other than Jesus Christ, They have jumped the fence, climbed under the fence. They've come into the sheepfold by some unauthorized method. Because right there, what Jesus declared himself to be the door. He said only the good shepherd goes through the door.
All right.
So if it's not about Christ, that's not the good shepherd.
Come on.
That's not authorized. And sometimes it troubles my heart talking to people. Think, oh, I don't talk to as many people now. I guess that's one benefit of being a pastor. People don't seem to talk to me as much as they used to. That's okay. Because when you start to hear things, I'm not criticizing people, you start to hear people talk about relationships they have or their spiritual condition for the church and everything. After that just vexes me. It troubles me. I don't want to hear it. And I'm not because I'm all holy and anything. It's just there's a simple solution. Either God is speaking there and you should obey God's word, or he's not. And I would say you probably need to leave. It's not about the people. It's all about, is God evident?
Come on.
Are you being led according to the word of God or not? To me, it's really that simple. Now, I don't know. Would anybody please correct me if I misstated it, but I think it's really that simple. Because we can't say, well, the preacher said this and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. But wait a minute, we got the same Holy Spirit. Now, why am I going to blame the preacher for saying something I don't agree with, and yet I keep coming back and all I'm doing is listening to stuff I don't agree with? Now, tell me, who has got the issue there? So you're running behind the wrong shepherd, and you complain about where the shepherd's leading. You said you should have recognized the shepherd when he jumped over the fence. Because if you know Jesus, you know how he's supposed to come. So you're supposed to be able to recognize the good shepherd. So don't complain about the shepherd. Complain about what you're following.
All right now.
Oh, that doesn't. Oh. Okay, God, I'm not going to go there.
Wow, that's kind.
But to me, it may be overly simple, but just cut it out. If anybody's looking on faith, just cut it out. Don't complain about who you're following. Maybe you need to follow something different.
Amen.
All whoever came before me, verse 8, all whoever came before me are thieves and robbers.
Wow.
But the sheep did not hear them. Jesus says again in verse 9, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved, and will go in and out and find pasture. Oh, I love that. Because when we think again about the shepherd calling to his sheep, getting them from the sheepfold, because I don't know, anybody correct me if I've been over to the Middle East. I'm assuming maybe they take them out for a while and do what they need to do and bring them back. Maybe that's where they stay overnight. I don't know about it. I know you've been to Greece, may have seen it. So when the shepherd, the good shepherd is calling sheep out of the sheepfold, he's to take them out, get them watered, fed, maybe whatever he does, lead them around. So you're saved and you're safe. But he says we are to, verse 9 said, he will go out and find pasture. See, that's an important word. Because when you look at pasture, I'm trying to look at why it's. When you're talking about pasture, you can understand provision. He's to find food for them, water for them, grass that they eat, take them to a comfortable place where they can go without a whole lot of stress and eat. So a good shepherd is responsible. When I am trying to teach, or anybody trying to teach, I'm not trying to equate myself to Christ, please understand that. But see, understand when you teach the word, it is to feed us, to get us to a point where we have the opportunity, to correct that feed, to take us to an opportunity where we have pasture, where there's provision. The shepherd is to show us, is to take the sheep to a point where there's provision. One thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, brother, you've seen it. I've never seen it. You ever see the shepherd walk around pulling up grass, stuffing it in the sheep's mouth?
No.
No, the shepherd's not responsible to feed the sheep.
That's right.
The shepherd is responsible for taking the sheep to where the food and provision is, the good provision, not to feed them. So when people say you're not being fed, and I meditated on this and well, wait a minute, that's not the feed. Wait a minute, how old are you? Think about that. I mean, after the baby gets about to be, what, less than one? I don't know. Y'all ladies help me out. What, they about 6 months old? Sometimes they don't need to be fed. Oh, no, I mean, Angelina gets by herself, I'm sure. Feed her. She probably resists. Like, wait a minute, I don't need that help with this. But yet, why we spiritually want people to feed us? The shepherd doesn't go out and pull up the grass and shove it in the sheep's mouth. Yes, work their jaws so you're okay, you got enough, you better put another handful of bread. No, you're not to be fed. We're the pastor. That's because he takes them out to pasture.
Amen.
Amen.
And why you're not being fed? Well, maybe the shepherd is not taking you where a pastor is. Maybe taking you out here where there's dirt, rocks, and stones and destruction.
That's good. That's a good word.
And you have nothing to eat. And you're not being fed. Well, you don't want to be fed where you go, where you are. There's no pastor there. Because I remember the Saudi Arabian desert. I know you're going on a number of times, Brother Nick. You know a place out in the desert. I'm like, man, all them guys doing is going through there. They'll find the grass, but they don't stop out there in the sand dunes, right? Until they don't stop here, we're going to eat a little sand. No. That shepherd is going to find where that water and that grass is. We're going to find that food. You see how the Christian will get it all twisted up. Well, I'm not being fed where I am. That's not even the responsibility. Anybody there at the congregation? We're responsible to eat where we are being led to pastor.
Wow.
Now understand, you can only eat where you're led to the pastor. So if you've been taken to a barren place, don't expect any food or water. You followed the wrong shepherd. Maybe, I better stop. I'm trying to stay away from being negative. But I'm saying, stay with the word. Stay with the word. So that is the responsibility. And see, I got a revelation with this. I'm going to look at verse 10 right now. Look at what Jesus said. And this is I think this is very well known. Verse 10 said, the thief does not come except to steal, kill, and destroy. But I come that they may have life and they may have it more abundantly. See, the thief, he was referring back to the thief that jumped over the fence.
That's right.
That got me right there. And I know it's demonic, there's implications. I'm not saying anybody that said that Satan is wrong necessarily. But in the context of this, Jesus is actually talking about the shepherd that came in any other way except for the door by me.
That's right.
Is a thief and a robber, and there can only be destruction. There will only want to be killed. He's going to steal from you, and you will be destroyed. That's why it's important to know the source of the shepherd. You don't go to the pastor's office just because he got a bunch of degrees and I don't have an office. But you know, look at all this, and there's nothing wrong with divine teaching and people that have gone to seminary or whatever and got all this education. But see, you can't judge them by that. That just shows that intellectual assent. Because Jesus said, in spite of all these degrees, which are okay, fine, I love them, I love education. If you don't come through this door, you can only lead people to destruction. So you need to take all them degrees through this door with you if you plan to assume this responsibility. They can be enhancers. They can help you deal with a wide variety of situations that some of us are not trained in certain areas not have. But see, without the door, that's useless. And the results is only going to be stealing, there's going to be some death, and there's going to be some destruction. And it goes back to that pastor. Because you think about it, I'm not authorized to be there. I just use this as an analogy. If I come in and just made on my own, I think I just want to be this. It's like a good job being a pastor. But that works for me because I don't get paid, which is a great thing. But you want to do that as a lifestyle and for a job. And I just do it for the sake, okay, I can emulate this, I can get a few degrees, go online, even print something out, go to extra school, whatever. And you think this is just going to be a job, and I don't have Christ centered. Come on, baby. If you're not submitted to Christ, you can only destroy people.
God have mercy.
And one of the situations with that is Satan loves this, and he will allow these fence jumpers to have a whole lot of folks.
Come on.
And I'm not saying everybody at large is satanic, but think about what's better, KCM, well, that's a few of us. Plus, they're not going to listen to me anyway, so I think our congregation is pretty much, Satan he like easy talking. He don't like hard talking. He want to go against a little paper house instead of a tank. So you come to KCM, that's like trying to come against a tank with, a can opener. Spiritually. But you can go someplace like, wait, but there's so many cracks here. Plus, you don't live in the pasture. The sheep are not strong because they're not being pastured, they're not fed, they're out here starving to death spiritually. I just go shove them a little bit and they're going to collapse. You see how that works out? You see the implications, how dangerous that can be, and how impacting be? The thing is, people don't know they're being destroyed. When you think about everybody being destroyed, you start think that's the norm. Everybody else in the congregation jacked up, including pastors. So we done redefined what jacked up is. Then they run somebody that's strict about the word of God, and they don't understand where you're coming from. What? After what? Moving along, running out of time here. Ooh, the good shepherd. Let's look at verse 11 right now. Jesus, we're going to make one of these great proclamations that I love. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. Now, what does the good shepherd mean? I have to break these two words down. Good means he's virtuous, honest, and worthy. Virtuous, honest, and worthy. Virtuous, look at it again, means morally excellent. Now, I know that Jesus didn't say that the good shepherd is perfect. But the good shepherd, by definition, has got to be virtuous, mean morally excellent, honest, and worthy. So just by using that as a guideline, if anyone's in a position of shepherding anybody, and they don't have these good qualifications, I would say we don't need to call what's not good good.
All right.
That makes no sense. Oh, well, pastor soon get delivered. He'll start smoking crack in the pulpit eventually. I'm exaggerating the situation. See, a lot of times the sin is not as obvious. There's a lifestyle. Now, granted, all of us are going to make a mistake. Anybody here that doesn't make any mistake, please tell me how you do that so I can emulate you after service. We all will make mistakes, but to have a perpetual ungodly lifestyle, it can't be of God. Why would he allow that? Why is he going to allow a shepherd to continue to lead his sheep into destruction? See, it makes no sense. So Jesus says he's the good shepherd. And a shepherd, actually in this context, the word shepherd just surely means pastor. And see, a pastor, one thing about the word pastor can have a dual definition. Pastor can be used as a noun or as a verb. When you see pastor as a noun, it merely means a spiritual overseer. Just a spiritual overseers. From that context, we have people that are pastors in various degrees. If you want to literally put it down, if you're a parent, and you have children, even grandchildren, you're a pastor of those children because you're a spiritual overseer for these children. See, we get all convoluted, like, oh, we got to get to church and bring them to pastor. Because, what? Wait a minute, pastor just like you. I just get the privilege to stand up here on some Sunday. That's why I don't like being up here every Sunday, because we don't need to think that this is some kind of dictatorship. For only one person, I'm the only one that got the Holy Spirit, so you have to listen to me every Sunday. And how dare you think that anyone else can minister the word like me? Bam! That's the wrong message. That's madness. So pastor is just a spiritual, everybody has spiritual oversight is by definition a pastor. And the verb portion of it means to serve. That is doing the work of tending to the sheep. Amen. See, being a pastor in name is that verb, you have spiritual oversight. But the only way that is confirmed by actually exercising responsibilities that come with this spiritual oversight. See, not all pastors are complete. You get some that just want the rest of this, want the title. And I'm not here to criticize any pastor, but we need to understand how it's supposed to look. Being a pastor in name only without the action, the corresponding actions of it, leaves shortness. It's self-serving. We're going to be called something that we're not doing.
Oh, man. Oh.
Like I call myself a hockey player. Yeah, I'm a hockey player, sure. I had to go get the jersey and put on the whole uniform. It's okay, let me see you play. No, I don't really play. Don't I look good in this uniform? You come out to the game and see me, I'll be out there. I might even go over there and sit, you know, with the rest of the players. Don't you look at me, I'm 98. Look at my stick, brand new. Never touched a puck. And you look up there and you look like you had a role. But see, I can't even ice skate. Can't skate forward, let alone backwards. I'm seeing those guys, man. It really amazes me. If you ever watch hockey, it blows my mind. I'm like, I don't see how a human being can move on ice like that with so much skill and stuff. But it's the same thing with saying you're a pastor. See, saying it and having the name pastor and not having the corresponding work with it, really a pastor, or you know, deceiving yourself. Because it takes the corresponding work. And the work of the pastor is to tend the sheep. Pastors are responsible for providing pastoral. Pastors are responsible for providing pastoral. Remember what Jesus said? When the good shepherd comes to the sheep, the porter let him through. He calls to his sheep, and the sheep follow him, and he takes them to pasture, to provision. Let's look at John chapter 6. We're going to go back in John. So now we need to see, want us to see what pastors should be feeding, pasturing the sheep, providing for the sheep to eat, not feeding them. Because that word feed is more like, the interpretation would be preparing a meal or a provision for them. Not so much feed, like say you feed somebody. You know, people come to your house and say, well, I fed them. Well, you didn't put the food physically in their mouth. That's right. I mean, we go to the Greens out there, they just have the food cooked, it's there prepared, and they make everything available for you to partake of that meal.
There you go, there you go.
And they have food that is suitable for human beings to consume. So what are pastors supposed to provide? John 6:51 tells us, this is Jesus speaking again, I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. Jesus said, I am the living bread. What should we be feeding? What provisions should we make? Every pastor, we should be led to the Word of God, to Christ Himself. To Christ Himself. John 6:51. To Christ Himself. So I'm not authorized when I'm up here teaching to teach my opinion, to pull something out of Newsweek, or I read this on the internet, or some blog somewhere, or start quoting these statistics that people are pulling out of their full point of contact and nobody really cares about. No. A pastor is restricted only to making the provision of the Word of God. That's all to be presented for us to consume. We're not authorized anything else. No opinion, none of that. No, who's running for whatever office, vote for Little Joe because he'll do more. No, we don't do that. Little Joe don't get no authority. Little Joe has nothing to say. If Little Joe get elected, that's fine. Little Joe don't get elected, that's
It's still fine. All right. That's right.
That's not the Word of God. It's not even my opinion. It's not even my concern.
That's right.
I'm worried about something that has nothing to do with Christ. And understand, understand fully, if you've been there for the Bible study, God permits the government anyway.
That's right.
You think about it, you don't know, nothing gets surprised. So you see people that we think are messed up in some office, well, God permits it for whatever reason.
That's right.
We should be trying to ascertain, well, why is this going on? Sometimes we need stuff that's totally out of character that really irks us to make us do a self-evaluation.
That's right.
Sometimes, like Maybe you should stop complaining, not changing anything.
Ain't gonna change a thing.
And me, I have that, but let's look and see if there's something good being done with all this.
Amen. Yeah.
But excuse me, it's a little warm in here. Let's see if something's good is really happening with this. All right, 12 through 14 reads. I'm going to have to hear it. Now he's doing a comparison here. Yeah, we're back to chapter 10, verse 12. Said, but the hireling, who is not the shepherd, one who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf catches the sheep and scatters them. The hireling flees because he is a hireling and does not care about the sheep.
Right.
A hireling, the hireling flees because he is a hireling and does not care about the sheep. Verse 14 says, Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep and am known by my own. So we have responsibility. Not only does Jesus know us, we have to be responsible for knowing him. That way we won't get led astray by somebody misrepresenting themselves. And 15 through 18, now well, that'll be the last in John here. It says, as the Father knows me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. Now Jesus is showing right here his relationship with God the Father. That he knows me, and I am known by him. And Jesus said, I lay down my life for my sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Them also must I bring, and they will hear my voice. And there will be one flock and one shepherd. Therefore my Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it again. See, that's one thing that Jesus did that we understand the full significance of. Because Jesus laid down his life, that gave him the authority to lay it up. If somebody takes something from you, you can't take it down. Get it back because it's gone. See, I take my wallet out, whip it, lay it right there. Don't worry, there's nothing in it. Well, it's very little. I laid it down. Look, I go right back. Pick it up. Now, your brother Nick came up here and overpowered me and took my wallet and went on somewhere, which he wouldn't do. But if he did that, now I've lost it. I can't go get it again. So God said, Jesus didn't lose his life. He laid it down. He said, because I willingly laid it down, I can take it up. So that lets pastors know, people that want to pastor, we have responsibility. We started talking about that a little in Sunday school. When we embrace the situation because of our love for the sheep, we are going to have to lay down a portion of our life, which means not try to have things done my way. I'm not worried about how I feel about this situation. I will lay my life down in this situation, because as this situation rectifies itself, I'm going to come and take it back again. My feelings may be hurt, and I don't like that. But I'm coming back, and I'm going to keep being who I am. So a lot of times we live with offenses that should be over with. We follow the knowledge of Jesus. Jesus didn't say, wait a minute, I'm going to let y'all kill me, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to get y'all back. I'm going to get y'all what y'all did. I'm going to show y'all. He didn't do that. So I understand the power of what the shepherd actually does. The shepherd doesn't worry about his own or her own well-being. You just lay it down, and because I do that, lay down my own feelings about the situation, my own desires, now I can take it back up. But if I allow it to be taken from me, which sometimes we do, we allow Satan to rob from us because we listen to the wrong shepherd. We don't get that back because we didn't lay it down. It was stolen. We get destroyed. So what does this look like in practical application? Very one word, please. I'm going to close with turn back to Psalms, 23rd Psalm. Very, very familiar. I mean, because it just pressed on me a bit. Actually, I shared, I think, I don't know if the intercessor of the Bible study, I think it was a Bible study when I shared about it. I just woke me up almost in the middle of the night. The 23rd Psalm, just the last verse of it. It actually had me weeping. Because as we go through this Christian process, this maturing process, it's not always going to be pleasant to us. There's things we have to do that's unpleasant to the flesh. And we can say, okay, that's all about, this laying down. I understand all that. We get delivered from things, and we go through things to mature. But that still doesn't make it any easier. As Brother Ray said, it's challenging. It's attainable, but it's challenging. But if we read, I want to read the third, given what we just talked about, let's read the 23rd Psalm from, hopefully, if you're like me, a more enlightened perspective. And it reads, hopefully everybody there, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. See how that, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures, he leads me beside the still water. See, David already had that concept of what a pastor, well, that's what he was. He was a shepherd. So now the Lord does for me what I did for the sheep. I don't have to worry about wanting anything because he's going to lead me where the provision is. All I got to do is follow him. You see how we just mess church up being a Christian? All we got to do is follow him and all the provisions are there. Look at that. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Now, as long as you get ready, so you don't get led by the good shepherd. We get led to do right things. That's right. We don't get led to marginalize or, well, this was sin yesterday, but it's not sin now because, I used to preach against this, but now, my son or my daughter, close relatives now find they got this lifestyle, so it must be okay. They can't help it, they okay. See, it doesn't change. That's right. It's righteousness all the way. Now, here comes some more here. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And they got your rod and your staff, they comfort me. I've heard that talk. And I understand a shepherd got a rod and a staff. Not totally sure what's the difference. I know the uses of it. The staff is what the shepherd used to study things with, but see this rod. See, we missed the rod. Shepherd got to have a rod. Because the enemy's going to come. And when the enemy comes, the shepherd takes the rod and cracks his skull. So you're in the church where anything goes and everything is okay. See, that's not church. That's right. There has to be that rod to keep the enemy at bay. All right. A true shepherd has got to have that rod. That's your weapon. I know the word is a weapon, but you got a shepherd. Wolves come up and attack the sheep. What you gonna do? Start praying? Oh God, save my sheep. Like, no, fool, pick up your rod, kill the wolf. Hit it. Do something to it, because get it out of here. Right. See, the shepherd is responsible for that. That's why always certain things in the church that shouldn't be allowed. Because you have spiritual oversight. You don't let there's anything happen in your house. That's right. See, I can't understand how somebody can go to a church, what they call a church service, and see things that go on that they wouldn't allow to go on in their house. See, that makes 0 sense. 0 sense. So if you ever see anything in here that you would allow in your house, please let me know, and it will be stopped quick, fast, and furious. Because it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be some duality in spirit. Okay, the church is this. Well, it's the proud, so it must be okay. No, that doesn't make it okay. It shouldn't be any conflict spiritually in the way you live and what church service experiences are. We shouldn't be uncomfortable. We shouldn't have anything that will come on that cause the troubles our spirit anymore. All right, I better leave because I can go on and on. All right, thou prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. So the shepherd is still prepared, making provision and comfort. And David said, I had more than I need. My cup running over. In fact, I'm filling up other cups with my cup. We all just filling cups and cups and cups to everybody. And I want to close with this. This is what brought me to tears, verse 6. It says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. See, David knew about salvation, but I got not hung up. I thought about this. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. Goodness and mercy shall follow me. Like, Lord, I mean, this part had me weeping. Why is goodness and mercy following me?
Come on.
Now, this may just be for me, but if it works for you, you let me know. Why is goodness and mercy follow me? Because we go through trials and tribulations in our life. We go through situations that's unpleasant and harmful. Things in the past. I don't know how far back we can go. Hopefully not like me having much drama in your life way back when I was young. But when I look back, instead of seeing the situation, I see, you see goodness and mercy. I don't see abuse. I don't see poverty. I don't see starvation. I don't see all the racism going up in our life. I don't see the offenses. I don't hear the names you call. You don't see the things that people did to you. You look back and we see goodness and mercy.
Hallelujah. That's word. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, that word of travel.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Everybody, bow your head. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Father, for the word that just came forth, Father. We just pray that this word will get deep rooted within us, Father. Deep within our hearts, that it may bring the fruits that will glorify you. As we leave out of here, Father, help us be salt and light. Help so that others are attracted to us through you. So that the world may look upon us, Father, as the true church, a house of love. Father, we thank you and we bless everyone in here, Father. In Jesus' name, as the week comes forward, we thank you in Jesus' name, amen.